everybody. Welcome to episode number 6 of my Casual Coaches podcast. I'm Bill Crawford, your host, your moderator. You'll recognize some of the usual suspects here. Nate Scott and Michael Reiner, Iron Mike, who've been on almost all of these podcasts. And we have a special guest, our first-timer, Camden Douglas, keeping in the Wellsville vein here. You guys graduated the same year. What year was that?
2014.
And Mike was 2016. Okay, gotcha. So we've got these young bucks here representing the strong athletic presence in Wellsville. So we're going to dedicate, unfortunately, on a sad note, we're going to dedicate this episode to the late, great Don Elliott, teacher, athletic director from Wellsville, a long time. That's just diehard Tiger, and these guys know better than I do. So we're going to go around the table. He'll go ahead, Mike. Start with you and say a few words about your man, Don Elliott.
When I think about Don, I think about the Tigers. Every game that we were at, that we were a part of, Don was there. One of the most supportive guys in the room when we would be at games, and he was just a lot of fun. There was no place else he would rather be than Tiger games. And not just at those games, but even after school, I was really lucky to continue to stay tight with Don. We would go do things and go to games and go to wrestling shows and all that fun stuff. And here at March Madness season, I think about Don because in class, I would have him. He would write up all the names of the bracket on the chalkboard, and the winner of that March Madness would win a candy bar. And that's classic because Don was a big food guy. He loved his food and his sweets, especially chocolate chip cookies. And I'm just thinking of you, Don, and we love you. And it just isn't fair. It just isn't fair that a guy that, you never would have expected it. And yeah, it's just crazy. So
good stuff, Mike. Cam?
First of all, obviously, really shocking that this even occurred. I don't think anybody really expected it. But when I think about Don, like Mike said, he's Tiger through and through. From when we were in school, he would support us, everything we did. He was always there. And even after school, I could see him still going to the games. I think I heard him get on the refs a few times, making sure that our fans are in check. Just an overall good dude. And obviously, with me getting this football job, I've had the chance to reconnect with him, and I enjoyed the time that I got to spend with him over these last few weeks when I did get the job. And like Mike said, he'll be dearly missed, and I will be thinking about the family.
Nate?
Yeah, just like they said, I mean, he's Tigers through and through. I mean, he's, huge part of the coaching circle we had. He, after school we'd have practice, and he'd be there. He'd come down, talk to us, joke with us, just checking up on everybody. And he was he did a lot for the basketball, did a lot for a lot of the coaches, the kids, but I mean, he hooked us up with coaching shirts, coaching winter jackets. I mean, we had everything. He really did good for us. So it was and he was even made in our coaching group message. So his phone went off a lot. I'm sure Karen didn't like that, but I mean, he was definitely going to be missed, and he was great for the Tigers. So just thoughts and prayers with Karen, his brother, his mom, and the rest of his family.
Thanks. Good stuff, guys. I'm sure he loved you guys dearly. And do take my advice, which I'm sure you will anyway, but if good friends or acquaintances of yours have passed away, I do this with my music folks. Don't do everything you can to keep their legacy alive, because hype them up forever, and then they'll never really gone. Everybody's going to remember all the great stuff they did and everything. So thank you for that. And also, we will we'll go backwards a little bit to what Cam mentioned. Yeah, so congratulations to our guest, Camden Douglas, being appointed, speaking of Don Elliott, who would have played a huge role in that along with the school board. And kudos to the school board for giving such a young buck a shot that's well respected in the community. But he's a new Wellsville High School boys varsity football coach. And right away, the hype was crazy on social media, and a lot of guys, kids interested in coming out to play. All right, so anyway, this episode is about March Madness. I had the selection committee get together the other night on Sunday. So we're going to go around here. Like I said before, if you've watched these, I'm kind of the moderator now, the host. I kind of stay out of the nitty-gritty, let these guys do their thing. I'll throw in some tidbits here and there and to keep things rolling, but we'll try to keep this one in check this time if we can, but we're going to go around and talk about the tournament. I will have a little bit of trivia here in background, but so the field of 64 plus the play-in thing, which I think maybe started back in 2001 or something like that. There are actually 32 of the six. There's 32 conferences in the NCAA Division I in that. So 32 of those teams come from the winner of those conferences. They get into the tourney. So the rest of them, I believe, are where the selection committee comes in. There's only one team in the tournament for the first time ever, believe it or not, this year. So everybody else in the tournament, as far as my research goes, has been there at one time or another over the last however many years. Do you guys know which team that is?
I do not know off the top of my head.
I do not know either.
Putting you on the spot. It's Kennesaw State, which is in Kennesaw, Georgia. They're the only first-timer. So the tournament, March Madness tournament, has grown from initial 8 teams, moving to 16 in 1951, then growing steadily until 1985 when it reached its familiar format of 64. And then, of course, they have the play-in games and that sort of thing, which I'm not totally familiar with all that. But one last thing, and we'll move on to some predictions and things. But so this is kind of funny, and I'm not going to comment any about my workplace, but I'm sure some of you guys might, is that according to one estimate, the NCAA tournament is the ultimate time burglar in the workplace. They estimate that the hourly corporate losses will amount to roughly $1.9 billion as a result of workers whose productivity has been diverted by March Madness. So, no comment.
Yeah. That's an interesting stat right there.
You might get away from that's kind of part of your job sometimes.
Well, I mean, it's going to be on CBS, so I mean,
there you go.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it's our network. Some of the games are going to be on WKBN.
There you go.
So there we go.
So let's go back around this way, Nate. Go ahead and again, we kind of leave this loosey-goosey, as you can tell, no real strict scripted format. We're going to talk about some Sweet 16 stuff and go from there. Since there's so many teams, we want to jump right into the good stuff. But you're welcome to talk about anything you want related to March Madness. So go right ahead.
All right, so I'm just going to give you guys a list of my Sweet 16. I'm going to go with Alabama, Virginia playing each other in the South, Baylor, Arizona in the South, Purdue, even though I don't want to pick Duke, but I got Purdue and Duke playing each other in the East.
You got to be sensible.
Kentucky and Marquette, which I think that'll be a really good game in the East. And I got Houston and Indiana in the Midwest, Xavier and Texas in the Midwest, Kansas and UConn, and Gonzaga and UCLA. So I think there's going to be some pretty good games in the Sweet 16. Do you want to go around each Sweet 16 first, or you just want me to rip a Elite 8, Final Four?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and keep it going.
Okay.
As well.
And then Elite 8, I got Alabama and Arizona, Purdue, and I got Kentucky beating Marquette, 6th seed. And I got Gonzaga and UCLA. I got UCLA winning. Kansas and UConn. I got Kansas winning, of course. Indiana over Houston. So there goes a 1 seed. And then Xavier and Texas. I got Texas coming out of there. And then I got my Final Four, Alabama and Purdue, which I think is going to be two of the best teams in March Madness right there. And I got Texas and Kansas, Big 12, meeting together in the Final Four. So I think Kansas's second best player will be back by then. So it should be a good one. And I got Alabama and Kansas. And I'm going to go Alabama the winner. And I think Brandon Miller is going to be, player to watch out for all tournament long. I think he's the best player in March Madness. I don't think it's really close. Tragic situation with what happened and everything. But I mean, he can play. He can shoot. He can handle 6'9". I mean, they're comparing him to Kevin Durant. So I mean, he's got what it takes. So, but I think it'll be a good March Madness. Hopefully, my picks are right. So.
Miller will be a top 10 lottery pick then?
Yeah, I think he'll be top 3, maybe 1, just depends. I'd take him 1.
Coach Douglas? How do you like the sound of that?
I think he could be a top 3 pick. I think he's correct with that. The thing I will say about this year's March Madness, though, is I think it's a complete toss-up. I think
it makes it fun.
I think there's about 10, 15 teams that have a legitimate shot at it. So I'm excited to tune in and see what happens with it.
Good.
For my Sweet 16, I have a couple of the same matchups as Nate did. I have Alabama taking on Virginia, I have Baylor taking on Arizona. Difference here, I think Memphis is actually going to make a run. I think they're going to have some confidence after winning the conference tournament. I think they're going to roll over into this March Madness tourney, and I think they can make some noise. So I have Memphis taking on Duke. I think Kansas State will move on to the Sweet 16. They're a bit streaky, but when they're playing good basketball, they're playing really, really good basketball. So I think they can compete. Marquette, I'm real big on Marquette too. Shaka Smart's doing a great job with those guys. Was at VCU, had a tenure in Texas, and now he's at Marquette, and he's doing a great job with those guys there. Houston, I have them taking on Miami. I actually have Pitt. I think if Pitt if they can get it done tonight, I think they can win some games.
Nice.
So I have Pitt taking on Texas, Kansas and UConn, and Gonzaga and UCLA. That's my Sweet 16. And then going on to the Elite Eight, I have Miami taking on Texas, Kansas taking on UCLA, Marquette, I have them going all the way to the Elite Eight to take on Duke, and I have Alabama playing against Arizona. And then the Final Four, I have Alabama coming out of their region, I have Duke out of their region, Texas, they're getting hot at the right time. I think they can make a Final Four run. And Kansas, they've had obviously that loss to Texas in the conference tournament. That was also without Bill Self, so I think when they get him back, he'll keep those guys in check, and I don't see him. Definitely not a 20-point loss to Texas. I think they'll compete, and I think that'll be a good game. And then the national championship, I think Alabama comes out of their side of the bracket, and I think Kansas actually meets up with them. And I like Kansas. Like I said, they've been kind of streaky.
Ooh, you were right with Nate there until the
Repeat.
championship.
Yeah, they've had some streaky spots this year, but I think they can get it together. And they're Bill Self's way too experienced in the tournament to. I mean, anybody could have a slip up, but I don't see him having a slip up.
Did they say what happened with Bill Self? They were kind of wishy-washy. What was?
Yeah, I've seen multiple reports, maybe like close to a heart attack,
Oh,
and then
really?
I've heard other ones that say weren't that serious, but they were taking,
Yeah, I saw he
caution
had some
reasons.
type
So.
of procedure. I don't know
Oh,
exactly
okay.
what it was, but
Interesting.
And another note to Kansas is they've won the most quad one. How they consider quad ones. I think they broke the record for the most quad one wins in a year. So I mean, they've played up to par all year. They played tough teams, so it'll be a good one.
I think they have arguably one of the best players in the nation too, with the Wilson kid.
Yeah, he's nice.
Now, did you say it was Kansas that has somebody coming back, or was that Kansas State? Who did you mention earlier?
Kansas.
Oh, Kansas. Okay,
yeah.
so good.
Their best defender, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, Iron Mike.
So as far as the Sweet 16 goes, pretty interesting stuff. I have a lot of upsets this year, boys.
Imagine that.
Oh boy, two big ones actually. I'm gonna go ahead and start with my Sweet 16 though, and then I'll get into my upsets. Alabama is gonna play San Diego State. San Diego State rolls 9-10 guys deep. That helps in the tournament. And I think then from there, Arizona is gonna play Baylor, and then from there, Purdue. I think they're gonna face off with Oral Roberts just because 17 games in a row. I mean, who wouldn't like to see Zach Edey go up against the big 7'5" kid for Oral Roberts? I mean, I just think that's just box office to me. And you can't really trust anybody out of the ACC this year. I mean, Nate knows that. And then from there, Kansas State and Marquette. I like Kansas State's energy, but Marquette, they just look like they got something dangerous to me, especially in the Big East. Strong conference this year. Iowa is going to play Miami in the Midwest. I see Houston. Thank you. I see Houston just with their point guard just getting injured. I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome it when a team is able to slow the game down on them. And then moving on, I like Xavier. High scoring team. I think they're going to upset Texas. If they could get Texas into foul trouble, that's the way they're going to do it. Again, I think the Big East is super strong, super healthy. They're the one team that doesn't really have any guys with injuries on them. And then moving on, I like Kansas playing UConn. And then Gonzaga and UCLA over to the Elite Eight. I have Alabama and Arizona. Tide coming out with the win on that one. Marquette is going to beat Purdue. I mean, Purdue's been kind of, overrated. I mean, if you look at, other than Zach Edey, what do they really have? I was watching them the other day. They're very reliant on him, and if Edie gets in foul trouble and the game slows down. Well, I mean, even if they move quicker, I'm sorry, if the game moves quicker, I see Marquette coming out on top. And then Xavier's going to take down Iowa, fellow Ohio team. I like their chances. I like their shooting. And Kansas is going to take down Gonzaga. I just don't trust them. Moving on to the Final Four, I like Marquette keeping up with the speed of Alabama. They're the one team I think they could keep up with Alabama's speed. I was watching them. You know, if there's somebody that can match the energy of Alabama, it's Shaka Smart and Marquette. And then Kansas will take care of Xavier fairly easily. And then in my national championship, I don't know, man. Bill Self has gotten there a long, long time, but he's only won, twice now? I mean, that's it. I mean, he's got there a lot, but I see Marquette taking it and winning. 75-72, and that's the final. So.
I'll be darned. Leave it to Mike to shake things up.
I just like Marquette. I like upsets this year. Taking Oral Roberts to the Sweet 16. And one matchup I'm really looking forward to, guys. The two of the best journalism schools out. Indiana Hoosiers and Kent State. I like the Flashes.
There you go. I'm repping my Kent State Golden Flashes.
I like the Flashes. They can go out and score. So we'll see what happens.
Good deal. Well, good stuff, guys. And again, like Cam said, it's true, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And Nate's Tar Heels are out, so you have no skin in the game. You can relax and enjoy the game.
There's no relaxing.
Corey screaming in your ear or whatever. Okay, what about? We'll go back around. What about? You might have kind of touched on it, Mike, but like what's the Cinderella team this year that there always is one that just gets lots of exposure and gets in everybody's wheelhouse. What's going to be that team?
I don't know. I mean, I really like Oral Roberts. When you look at him on paper, they can shoot the ball and they have that big kid underneath. I mean, that's really all the recipe that you have. I mean, I always really liked those old Wichita State teams from back when. This team kind of still has that DNA. You know, they can show up, they could pull out an upset, and this time they're veterans, so it's nothing. There's probably some guys on that team that beat Ohio State years ago. So.
Did Oral Roberts make a deep run in the last 5 to 10 years? It seems like I've heard. I mean, I can't remember exactly when it would have been, but
2 years ago they beat Ohio State in
okay.
2 versus 15, and then I think they went down the round after. I'm not
sure. They either won the next round or lost the next round after. I'm not sure, but they did an upset. So
it seems like they make some waves every so often. Yeah.
But I mean, the thing about Kent is, they've got Indiana, and if they could get through that, then Miami. I mean, that's a team that matches up with them. I don't know if they could beat Miami, but that's
Miami's dealing with a few injuries as well. So
right. I mean, if there's a time to trust Kent, I think it's right now.
And really, kind of no pressure on them to. I mean, you can just, you know what I mean. They're not expected to win. So what the heck? What do you think, Cam? Cinderella.
Like I said before, mine all kind of starts tonight. So my Cinderella either goes down tonight in the play-in, or they can win some games. That's Pitt.
That's Pitt. Okay.
They've played the ACC tough all year. They're the top of the ACC all year long. Took them a while to get some respect. They weren't ranked for a while, so I think they're gonna play with a chip on their shoulder, and I think they can win some games.
And a little regional. I love regional connections. And we got Nellie Cummings from Lincoln Park up in Midland on doing pretty well for Pitt, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good stuff. Nate?
See, I looked at this for about 35 minutes, and I don't know who. Usually there's one that you're like, I'm going to ride with them. But there's 3 teams that popped out to me. One was NC State, 11 seed. They have great guards win you March Madness, and they got 2 of the best guards in March Madness alone. They can put up a lot of points, and they score fast. They run up and down the floor fast. They shoot the 3 well. So them... And VCU is a team the 5 and the 12. I seen a stat 32 out of 37 times of 5 or 12 beats of 5. So, and then the other one, I really want it to happen just because I got a couple people I need to go after, like Corey Miles. Oral Roberts needs to beat Duke. I don't think they will, but I wouldn't be shocked, And like Mike said, they got a 7'5" dude. They got Max Abrams back. He's averaging like 24 a game. I mean, they can score. Duke's hot right now. So I think that'll be one of the best games tomorrow or Thursday night to watch. But they'll have Duke has a big dude. They'll have to contain that Kyle or Flipowski. Yeah, he's nice. I mean, and they got a good guard play, Jeremy Roach. Everyone else just plays the rules, but it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Guys to relax on my Blue Devils.
All right, Nate, we're staying with you because we need you to explain what in the beep happened to your Tar Heels.
well, where do you want me to start? I mean, at first in the beginning of the year, I'm like, I watched them play Portland, and they struggle at Portland. I'm like, oh, it's just the first game, it's nothing, And then
Preseason number one.
Preseason
Is that
number
right?
one.
Okay.
Return
We're talking about.
top 6 of the 7 players from the national championship runner-up.
By the way, if you don't know, the University of North Carolina Tar Heels did not make the NCAA tournament, and that's why we're dogging.
Yeah.
Big
So
Tar
they,
Heel fan.
so I figured, oh, it's just first game, they'll figure it out. Here we are at Christmas time, they're still playing like crap. What are they doing? And then they beat Ohio State, they beat Michigan. I'm like, okay, maybe they figured it out. And then they just go in a slump and lose like 6 straight. So I'm like, what are we doing? I mean, I did some digging. I don't know how much of a coach Hubert Davis really is. I mean, I looked at when they went to March Madness run last year. They made 10-plus threes in every game besides Kansas, and they lost in the national championship. So they were hitting shots. They could beat anybody. But when you ain't hitting shots, can you coach the team to score outside of hitting shots? They don't go to Baycott enough. I mean, you got a 6'10" big who's third-team All-American 2 years in a row. It's like, go to him. They just shot contested jumpers way too much. And I don't think he used his bench. He didn't develop players, hence why 2 people left already yesterday. So, I mean, I think it's – and they got a number 1 recruiting class not this year but the year after. So it'll be interesting to see how that transpires. People leave. So, I mean, there's some troubled times there, and you didn't expect it. I do think the kids got some – NIL money and said, we're North Carolina. We can just step on the court. We'll beat you guys because we returned everybody.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, if they could shoot well, they could beat anybody. But if they didn't shoot well and they had a big like they did, they figured they'd be able to slow teams down and handle it, but they didn't, So, but then again, I seen one of the main North Carolina beat writers, and we follow each other on Twitter, and I seen him tweet something, and he said, this is the same reason why Roy Williams left.
Oh.
So now it kind of all starting to make sense. Like Roy Williams seen this a couple years ago. He said, I'm out, and and I think Hubert is everyone says he's a great guy. He does what he has to do, but I don't see him. He doesn't have that fiery edge where I think he needs at that level, and he doesn't. There was no accountability on the team. There was no leader. No one said anything when shooting stupid shots. So it just happened all year, and I guess you lay your bet in it. So
I always looked forward to getting on and seeing your pain social media posts
my.
after. So for me, it was great. It was entertaining. I didn't really care.
You and Corey was entertaining.
Yeah. But to add insult to injury, listen to this stat I found. The University of North Carolina holds the record for the worst loss in tournament history. The Tar Heels are widely recognized for their historical excellence, but they also hold this a distinction of, in 1941, they set a record for ineffectiveness, which still stands, logging a humiliating 20 points in a losing effort against Pittsburgh in that year's East Regional semifinals. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. So, all right, we picked on Nate enough. Let's keep it rolling here and kind of wrap up with hot takes. We will come back around. Go ahead. You got a hot take this time, Nate?
Yeah, let's talk about my Miami Dolphins hitting home runs in free agency. I mean, everything's on the table now. You got 2 great cornerbacks. You got a good defensive line. You got added 2 linebackers. You got Holland at safety. You got a good defense. Now, the defense was not good last year. They got a new defensive coordinator, so the defense should be good. The offensive weapons are still there. The speed's still there. It's on Tua. If he can play a whole year, he hasn't shown he can yet, then the Dolphins should be really good. If he can't play a whole year, it's going to be the same old. And they're forking out a lot of money here. But, hopefully they can figure it out. Hopefully Tua can, he just never stays healthy no matter what. Since high school, I don't think he's played a full year. Mm-hmm. So, the talent's there. It's just, can he stay healthy?
Mike, did we have this hot take from Nate like a year ago, and he was so high on the Dolphins and all this stuff was going on?
I did. Wait,
you can't foresee what's going to happen.
We can pull it back. I did say just make the playoffs. I didn't want. We wasn't going to win a Super Bowl because there's a dude named Mahomes in the AFC that if you can't beat him, then
right.
All right. So just a reminder, if you're tuning in and you're a newbie, this hot takes deal is just a minute or so for each fellow to talk about anything sports related. Actually, just anything they want to talk about. So, Coach Douglas, what's your hot take?
I think it's only fitting that we go with Wellsville football.
There we go.
With that being on the agenda now, starting our weightlifting, we've had 40 kids signed up to actually come out and play
fantastic.
for us. Yeah, so at a small school where we've struggled with numbers in the past, that's big time. We hope to get as many of those guys down to the field as possible. Just develop.
That's a huge percentage of the actual boys that would be in this high school.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
what is it, Nate? Maybe 113.
Total.
Yeah.
Holy
I
man,
think that's so.
that's impressive.
About a little over 25 or 30 percentage.
Yeah.
So try to get those guys out. We have talent down there right now. We just have to develop these guys, develop good habits, stay on them, and I think we have a good shot. Plan obviously is turn this thing around down there, get some pride back in the town. I think we'll be with having some younger guys on the staff. I think we can relate to these kids. Most of these kids probably were in the stands watching us or running
Yes.
around the field when we were playing. So hopefully they can realize that we might know what we're talking about a little bit.
Gotcha.
And then, like I said, with my other guys on the staff, we have some experience that they bring to the table that I think will help us as well. So
We're really just going to have some fun, and congratulations
Absolutely.
again on that. And congratulations with your work with Nikayla and all that AAU hoops and all that basketball
appreciate
stuff.
that.
I've been watching that on social media. So you
I
guys, not
appreciate
just
that.
you, but all her, and she's doing some great stuff. Shout out to Nikayla Edgell and all
Absolutely.
that. But
And I'm just excited to get this thing going, and hopefully I can report back to you after the season with some good news. So.
a lot of the Wellsville usual suspects names coming up there. How can you not get people excited about? That's good stuff. Okay, Iron Mike, your hot take.
Well, I mean, I just want to shout somebody out real quick. Brad Gray, 1995 Wellsville grad, Tri-Village Girls Division
Oh,
4.
yeah.
They won the state championship this weekend. Congratulations, sir. Got to sit down and chat with him for a little bit, so that was great. As far as my hot take goes, I got a chance to watch a little NBA this Sunday night. Got a chance to watch the Lakers and Knicks game. I like what I've seen from the Lakers
I fell asleep,
with
by the
no
way.
LeBron. I like it. I think when LeBron comes back, I think they have what it takes to at least maybe not play in the play-in. What's it? I mean, 15 games left.
It's
I
gonna
like the
be
Lakers.
close. It's going to be close.
Yeah, real tight race.
I like the Lakers a lot. A lot.
I saw where LeBron posted and is very excited about the team playing right now. Wow, he's not playing. I saw him tweet on it.
Yeah, I mean, and D'Angelo Russell, who would have thought he would end up
Holy
being the
moly.
player he is?
He went off that night. Yeah.
So, looking
Good.
forward to it. I don't know if he's going to be better than your Mavs, though.
It's frustrating that I didn't even want what you played over the weekend. Neither Kyrie nor Luca played, so I didn't even watch it.
Yeah.
But you know, it's frustrating. Owen's pulling for the Lakers. He's excited. He's been watching the Lakers, so we'll see what happens. But all right, well, there's your hot takes. Be sure to check out CrawfordPodcast.com. You can see my sign there, where you'll see both the Casual Coaches podcast and my music podcast, the Miller Green Music Podcast. We got episodes. This is, again, our 6th episode for this Casual Coaches podcast. The professor's been in on every one so far, and we're glad to have a special guest, a newbie here. We'll have you back, Kim. And
Thanks for having me.
yeah, absolutely appreciate it. And again, congratulations on the coaching thing. That's
Thank you.
exciting. We'll keep an eye on that. And we're going to be back. I'll be back with Cam and maybe some of the other coaches or whoever down in Wellsville on the field sometime during, after a practice or something. And we'll do a little
Absolutely.
podcast to maybe talk to some kids or whatever and have some fun stuff. So we'll do the same with basketball and midcourt and whatever. So, I think that's it. Anybody else have anything to add?
You got your Final Four picks, or
Not really. I mean,
Who's your pick to win, though? Like,
yeah,
do
give
you
us
have-
that. Who you got to winning?
Well, I would say I'd probably have to go with Kansas. Owen's a big Kansas fan. That's not the main reason, but I agree with everything you said about Kansas. I think Kansas. Let's say Kansas would be the team to beat for the run. Like
Who's
you
your
said,
sleeper?
Sleeper.
Putting you on the spot, aren't
Yeah, I know we are. I'm not used to being on the spot. Sleeper. I'm gonna say. Man, I don't know if it'd be a sleeper. Well, it's tough. I'm gonna go way out on a limb and say that Kent State's going to go really far and they're going to surprise a lot of people. So
Oh,
I'm not saying
boy.
they're going to win, but I'm going to go far. But we'll see. I'd like to see it happen, but it'd be cool. I just want to see. I think it's going to be fun, like you said. I think it's going to be really fun. It's just like in the NBA and the NFL, when things just switch up a little bit, and you just get to see some new talent, some new players, and some new competition. It's always fun. March Madness is so unique in that way. With some things are going to happen that we don't even know about yet.
Right.
The backstories and the coaches and the players and the upsets and the team that maybe it's Kennesaw State or something. The team that those teams like Butler and Baylor, teams that came through that you just really weren't part of the deal before. You know what I mean? It's going to be fun. So we don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be. My wife is furious that they're going to. playing during Young and Restless and stuff like that through the week, but it is what it is. So anyway, thanks guys for joining me. These are Wellsville's finest here, and we'll be back again for another episode. Keeping in mind we're dedicating this to the late great Don Elliott, and we'll be back at you. Take care.